off this shitty fucking product by coming on here and speaking the fucking goddamn truth about this fucking filth. And I can book a better show taking a fucking dump after eating my fucking Chipotle chorizo with extra cheese. I don't give a fuck what anybody has to say. Have I ever? Of course not.
WWE's great, man. Fuck you, Japan, and Okada. Delete! What is it, man? Can I suck your dick? What is it, man?
And this is the #1 fucking podcast right here on YouTube.com. This is off the script. There's no cold open to the show today, man. I got nothing. I got nothing for you. It's like I'm Carmella when the bell rings. I got nothing. Nothing for you. So what we're going to do today is we're going to get right into the news. And we're just going to get into all the big stories that I have lined up for this particular episode of Off the Script. There's nothing major enough to dedicate the cold open of the show to. I don't really have any extensive thoughts on anything. I'm not going to go in depth. I'm not going to creatively book something. I'm not going to tell you how it should be done, etc., etc. There really is nothing major right now. What seems to be for the rest of the weekend. So I'm just going to get right into these stories that I got today, and we're just going to have a very chill, relaxed show on this Saturday. I didn't get much sleep last night. That's part of the reason why I might not be, I guess, JD-esque today. I'm going to be a little bit more laid back. I had a dream last night that my car was stolen. And I don't know why I would have a dream in which my car was being stolen just out of nowhere. But it kind of goes to how I've been feeling pretty much for a while now. And I just found it to be quite a coincidence when I looked it up on Google, because that's what we all do when we are in a conundrum or we need answers to something. We type it in Google. Why did I have a dream that my car was stolen? And the answer or the reason that Google gave me was A, you might be feeling helpless. B, you might be feeling unmotivated, which, to be honest with you guys, I do. And you're probably wondering why, because I have all these great things coming up, whether it's Extreme Rules or it's SummerSlam with Justin LeBar and our little, podcast event that we usually do SummerSlam weekend. Or the fact that I'm going to Chicago for All In. And I'm going to be part of Podcast Row. Unmotivated. But I do feel unmotivated. But I think that has other factors at play. And the fact that I'm feeling directionless. Again, I don't know what directionless means. I guess in certain aspects of my life, I do feel directionless. So I don't really know what the extent of that is. But I figured I'd share it with you guys, man. Have you guys have any crazy dreams, or if you guys have had any crazy dreams as of late? And let me know what you guys are thinking about that, man. I really can't put my finger on it. I mean, I know what I struggle through on a daily basis. I know how I feel on a daily basis. It's just weird that I would have that type of dream just out of nowhere, man. So I'm going to attribute it to how I'm feeling personally in my personal life. I don't think it really has anything to do with work, because I feel pretty confident in what I'm doing here, man. I'm loving what we're doing. We're hitting our numbers. We got big things happening. So I don't know, man. I just wanted to share that with you guys today, because I just found it to be a little bizarre. that I had a dream like that last night. So let me know what you guys think about that down below. Enough of that, man. If you missed any of my previous videos, we got a lot of stuff on the channel, man. We got Monday Night Raw. So we reviewed Monday Night Raw live on the channel. As always, that happened on Monday night. Tuesday, we did a very rare off-the-script episode for episode 116. Or not 116. 116 is on Podbean and iTunes. 226 on YouTube. So if you guys want to go see that, part 3, a very rare part 3 of episode 226 for last week's show. That was on Tuesday, where we talk about Charles Robinson and him saying the fans disrespected Roman Reigns and Jinder Mahal. You guys can go and check that out. Please do so if you might have missed it, if it didn't hit your subscription box. Then on Tuesday, we did SmackDown Live, as always. We have Rusev being the #1 contender for the WWE Championship and AJ Styles at Extreme Rules. That was done Tuesday night. Wednesday, not much of an NXT review, but we have NXT news to fill the entire 40 minutes of that video. Plus, we go over where I think NXT is going to go into Brooklyn. So go check that out on Wednesday. And then Thursday, we did an off-the-script extra in which we talk about the juicy gossip behind Big Cass and his release. And I have even more juicy gossip. It may be the juiciest of the information yet in this Big Cass story and him being released from WWE. So if you guys missed all of that, and part 1 for this week's show, everything you need is going to be linked in the annotation that you see in the top right corner of your screen. Please go and check all that stuff out if you have not seen it yet. Yesterday we talked about a few fundraising campaigns that we have, man. Number 1, I will be in Extreme Rules, or I will be in Pittsburgh for Extreme Rules, and I will be hosting a live off-the-script pre- and probably post-show at Terrace on 5th, right across the street from the PPG Paints Arena, where WWE will be hosting Extreme Rules. We will be having a fundraiser leading up to the event and the day of the event, and it is for ovarian cancer research. One of my good friends and someone who is behind this entire project to get off the script to Pittsburgh, Brian Ghoulish. He was formerly part of Chair Shot Reality with Josh Eisenberg and Justin LeBar. He's helping me set this whole thing up. His mother was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and she's on the road to recovery right now. So if you guys have had anybody in your family affected by that terrible disease, whether it's ovarian cancer or cancer in general, we have a fundraising page. The people who are in charge of the building that are opening the doors to me and my crew at Terrace on 5th, the McMullen family, they have gone through the same ordeal. And they have raised a bunch of money for ovarian cancer research, and it's done so well that I want to be a part of it, because I've had people in my family affected by cancer, as I am sure you guys have as well. So if you guys want to donate to that, it will be pinned at the top of the comment section throughout the entire month leading up to Extreme Rules. So please go and do that. I will be mentioning it on every video. So thank you guys so much if you have already donated. If not, please find it in your heart to do so. I want to show everybody. I want to show Brian. I want to show the McMullen family the power of Off the Script. And I want to say thank you to them for opening the doors to Terrace on 5th for me to have a live Off the Script. And if you guys are going to be in Pittsburgh or any of the surrounding area, please come out, man. We want to make it a big deal, and it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun, man. So Extreme Rules weekend, I will be in Pittsburgh, and that fundraiser will lead up until Extreme Rules. My friend Rusty is doing his thing, man. Bike Tour for MS 2018. You guys know the deal with that. Let's help Rusty get to his goal. He's already 53% of the way there. If we can help him get the rest of that or anywhere close, I'm sure he would fucking love you, man. As I'm sure he already does, but he'll love you even more. And he's training his ass off. And again, he is a good friend of mine. He's been with me to talk me through some of my most difficult times in the last couple of years. And I want to support him in this venture, as always, that he does each and every single year. So Bike Tour MS 2018 for my friend Rusty. That with the cancer research fundraiser for Brian and the McMullen family will be pinned at the top of the comment section down below. Please find it in your heart to just bring awareness to these and donate and support where you can, man. Thank you guys so very much for all of that. If you guys want to see the original flyer that we have here for the Wrestle Rumble meetup with Off the Script, it's going to be at Terrace on 5th, July 15th, prior to Extreme Rules, big pre-party. That Saturday night, we are going to be at Las Vegas Mexican Restaurant. 2 lucky listeners of Off the Script, or 2 people who have entered the Wrestle Rumble pool for Extreme Rules, will be chosen at random to sit down with me, Brian Ghoulish, and the Wrestle Rumble crew for drinks and food at the lovely Las Vegas Mexican Restaurant in Market Square, downtown Pittsburgh. Should be a hell of an evening, man. So if you guys want to come on out, like I said, I'm going to try and see if the Wrestle Rumble Facebook page can set up a feeler for how many people are going to be there and how many people are going to come to the event. So I want to see how many people are actually going to show up. If you are, please let me know on Twitter or down in the comment section below if you are in Pittsburgh or in the surrounding areas, whether that be Philadelphia or anywhere, maybe South Jersey. I don't know how far South Jersey is from Pittsburgh, man, but I'll be flying in on that Saturday, so I want everybody, whether you're in Pittsburgh or the surrounding areas, to come on out, man. It should be a damn good time, and this is my first live event, so let's make it special, and I hope you guys come on out and have a good time with me. If you guys want your t-shirts, man, barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. You guys know what to do there. Hopefully, if you do come on out, whether it's in Pittsburgh, New York for SummerSlam, All In Chicago, hopefully you're wearing some merchandise here from Off the Script and Barbershop Window, man. barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. audibletrial.com/offthescript. Still a great partner, great friends of the show. You guys are going to get 1 month free and a free audiobook just for signing up, man. And if you guys have already signed up, please tell a friend, a family member, a coworker, classmate, colleague, whatever, man. audibletrial.com/offthescript. Over 190,000 different choices to choose from, but you're going to get that free audiobook no matter what. And if you figure that Audible is not for you, you want to cancel within the 30 days, boom, you get to cancel it and you get to keep your book for free, man. Again, that's audibletrial.com/offthescript. Follow me on Twitter at JDFROMNY206. Hit that subscribe button down below. If you guys want to support the podcast through Patreon, patreon.com/JDFROMNY206. I want to start off with a continuation of what we talked about with Seth Rollins. Now, yesterday we talked about Seth Rollins possibly being added to this unspecified multi-man match that will undoubtedly main event Extreme Rules in Pittsburgh. Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley have already been announced. We already have the idea of Elias being in there, being that he mentioned he wants to be in the multi-man match on Monday Night Raw. And we're all figuring Seth Rollins will be added because there is no other reason why WWE took the Intercontinental title off of Seth Rollins. This could either be great for Rollins or it could be a complete waste of time for everybody that has invested their time into what Seth Rollins did for the Intercontinental title. My take on it is if you're going to take that title off of Rollins, you better have a goddamn plan for the guy moving forward. Because he did so well with that title and you brought a spotlight back to the title that hasn't been seen in years. Especially with Lesnar being gone, that was the title everyone wanted a piece of. And you took it off Seth Rollins and you put it on someone who I love, who I think is one of the best talents in the business. But you undoubtedly put it on someone who has been dead for years. You put it on Dolph Ziggler now when people really don't care about Dolph Ziggler. And the only reason why people care about Dolph Ziggler is because he's aligned with Drew McIntyre. But I have a follow-up to what we discussed yesterday. Now, after all of that, you guys know where it went. Ziggler's the new champion. Rollins is getting the rematch on Monday. Where do we go from there? You guys know my take on it. I would put Rollins against Lesnar at SummerSlam. Now, other sources have revealed what Rollins' actual plan might be at Extreme Rules next month, and it might not have anything to do with the Universal Championship. Instead, multiple sources have revealed that people within the company have been told that Ziggler will defend the IC title against Seth Rollins, even though the two are set to have their rematch on Raw this coming Monday. While it's great that Rollins is still attached to a championship in some way, it's perhaps not the title fans want him to hold. Perhaps, definitely not the title that fans want him to hold. He's done a fantastic job of elevating the prestige of the title in light of Brock Lesnar not being there. He's a fighting champion. He's been the best in-ring performer probably in all of WWE during this time. And something that Rollins is doing right now, if Raw didn't have him, that title, and they didn't have what Rollins is doing in the ring, can you imagine how bad Raw would be on Monday night? Raw right now desperately needs Rollins continuing to perform at the level he is performing. Despite that, there's been an outpour of support on social media for months now, suggesting that everyone wants Rollins in the Universal Championship picture at last, but they might have to wait a little bit longer on that. I don't see the reasoning behind this. The only thing that I could possibly think of right now is if Rollins is going to be in the Intercontinental Championship picture, and he's not going to be in this multi-man match. Now, you guys, like I said, you know my take on it. If you took this title off of him, which in many eyes was unnecessary, if you're going to do something that bold, you better have a goddamn fucking plan for this guy for the Universal Championship and put him in that multi-man match and have him win it. And if he's in it, he better win it. Now, if they're not putting him in the multi-man match and he's not only going to fight Ziggler on Monday, but then again at Extreme Rules, what does this mean? It means that A, Rollins is probably going to win the Intercontinental Championship back at Extreme Rules. B, that probably means we're going to get Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental Championship and not the Universal Championship towards the end of the year, because we don't know when Seth Rollins is going to factor in to the Universal Championship picture. So we may be getting that. I would say right now, out of all the most intriguing matchups that WWE can do on Monday Night Raw, Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre certainly lends itself to being a colossal matchup. So I don't think I would be too upset if we got Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre at SummerSlam. Now, what does that do for Dolph Ziggler? That automatically pushes Dolph Ziggler to the unimportant bin, and I don't know what WWE is going to do with that. Right now, Dolph Ziggler seems to be on top of the world with his 6th Intercontinental title reign, but as far as what we could be seeing moving forward, Ziggler may be pushed out of the picture, and we may be seeing Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler separate. You know, Ziggler's going to be another lost puppy on Monday Night Raw, just like he has always been everywhere he's gone, because WWE doesn't get behind him. They usually give him these little token runs, and they give him these little scraps from the dinner table, but they never give him a full meal. So I don't know what that means. So if Rollins is not in the multi-man match at Extreme Rules, and they're not moving him on to the Universal Championship picture, but instead they're going to keep him in the Intercontinental Championship picture with Dolph Ziggler leading to Extreme Rules, maybe we get some type of submission match, an Iron Man match maybe at Extreme Rules between Ziggler and Rollins. I mean, both guys could certainly pull that off. We could be seeing McIntyre step up. Maybe he gets pissed that Ziggler loses the title and he wants to take things into his own hands. But what do you do at that point? You're going to take the title off Rollins again? You're going to have him beat McIntyre? I don't understand where they're going with this. I guess I shouldn't question anything. Maybe we should just strap ourselves in for a bumpy ride. You know, it's bumpy but unpredictable at the same time. You know where my heart lies. I say, enough of this Roman bullshit. And even with Rollins in the multi-man match, and Rollins probably, to everybody out there that wants him in the main event, what is it going to mean anyway? Braun Strowman is the Money in the Bank. He has the Money in the Bank briefcase. So either if Rollins is going to be in this multi-man match, you're going to have not only Roman as a possible winner there, you're going to have the fucking huge shadow looming of Braun Strowman in the distance. So WWE has a huge dilemma here, and I think they booked themselves into a corner with this one. It's either Roman, Braun, or Seth. And if it's not Seth, it's going to be Braun or Roman. And out of those two, it can't be Roman. It's got to be Braun. And Rollins is better off in the Intercontinental title picture if you're going to have huge question marks with Roman and Braun. WWE seems to be a fucking chaotic mess right now on Monday Night Raw, to be honest with you. You know, everybody thinks that Rollins is going to be in that multi-man match because he lost. Not according to these other sources. You know, we may be getting McIntyre versus Rollins, and we may be headed for that at SummerSlam. I don't think many people are going to complain about that, but you're still going to hear on social media that they think everybody, or they think that Rollins is deserving of the Universal Championship above everybody else. And that includes Braun Strowman, because I've heard from several people that they're kind of fading on Braun Strowman right now. You know, WWE didn't pull the trigger on it as soon as they should have. We'll see what happens, man, but it's going to be interesting. WWE better have a fucking plan for everything that they got coming to them, because right now they have a bunch of different routes that they could take, and none of them really sound all that exciting outside of the one, which is Seth Rollins becoming the Universal Champion. But how could he become Universal Champion with the possibility of Roman always being there and WWE getting behind him as always, and then Braun Strowman being Money in the Bank? This is why I would have given the Money in the Bank to The Miz. Not only does it make things a lot easier on Raw, you would have had The Miz with Mr. Money in the Bank, and it would have been a lot better for that feud, potentially, with Daniel Bryan. Braun Strowman, you know, doesn't need the championship now. You got to ride the hot hand. This is what WWE doesn't understand. You know, Braun Strowman is hot, but he's not as hot as Seth Rollins. You want to reward your best and the hottest. Rollins is certainly the best and the hottest right now. Having him slay Lesnar at SummerSlam is the best option for WWE right now. Strowman didn't need Money in the Bank. In my eyes, Strowman could have waited to get an opportunity at the WWE Universal Championship. I wouldn't have pushed Strowman to the Universal Championship until WrestleMania in New Jersey. Rollins winning the Universal Championship sets up so many opponents for him. You can have a feud with Drew McIntyre. You can have a feud with Kevin Owens. You can have a feud with a heel Roman. You can have a feud with a heel Ambrose coming back. WWE has so many opponents that they could give Rollins in this title run and make it interesting and make the top of the card on Raw interesting. Then if you want, when the situation is corrected, meaning Roman heel, have Roman take the title, have him become a Universal Champion as a heel, and then have him go on to fight Braun Strowman at WrestleMania, and we got Roman dropping the title as a heel to a babyface Braun Strowman at WrestleMania. I don't know. There's so many different propositions here for WWE on Monday Night Raw. I don't know which way they're going, but as far as this report goes, it looks like Rollins is not even going to be in the Universal Championship picture. I don't know who they put in that match. I mean, who on Raw you're going to put in that match? Nobody's really believable. We don't know how many men they're going to be. We don't know what type of match it's going to be. Maybe Finn Balor's going to be in there. Again, Finn trying for the Universal Championship, and he gets fucking shafted at every opportunity. You know? So Lashley, Roman, Elias, Finn. WWE's really setting up to be more predictable than they should be. Nobody expects Elias to win. Nobody expects Finn to win. Nobody expects Bobby Lashley to win a main event SummerSlam against Brock Lesnar. There's only one winner there. Roman. At least by adding Seth Rollins, you add major unpredictability. I hope WWE does the right thing here. I really do. Moving on from that, man. Speaking of Braun Strowman, what is he doing? What is he doing at Extreme Rules? Well, it looks like they may be setting up a huge stipulation match for Braun Strowman in Pittsburgh. Fans on social media have since claimed that cocky or cowardly heels like Miz, Samoa Joe, Kevin Owens would have probably benefited more than Braun Strowman by capturing the briefcase and teasing a cash-in throughout the year. Now, speculation. If speculation is to be believed, then Braun Strowman could leave SummerSlam as the new champion, but only after Roman defeats Brock Lesnar to snatch the Universal Championship finally from Brock Lesnar after so many opportunities presented to him. This week on Raw, General Manager Kurt Angle announced that there will be a new contender crowned at Extreme Rules to battle Lesnar next, presumably at SummerSlam, because he will not be at Extreme Rules. So far, Roman and Lashley have been announced for the match, and early rumors suggest that Strowman could be one of those names involved. Now, why would you put him in that when he's already, statistically, analytically, the number one contender for the Universal Championship? Because he's got the briefcase. He's got a contract for a title match. He's like the default number one contender. So why are you going to put him in that match? And it's already going to take a spot away from somebody, and you know he's not going to win. So to me, that would be a wasted spot if Strowman is in that multi-man match. What do you do with the briefcase if he wins? It makes no sense. However, sources have revealed that what Strowman is really going to be doing at Extreme Rules next month has nothing to do with the Universal Championship. According to sources, Strowman is set to be featured in a steel cage match against Kevin Owens, someone who he has been feuding with for quite some time on Raw, and that continued this past Monday. It was initially thought that both men could be featured in the multi-person match for the number one contendership for the Universal Championship, but a cage match featuring Owens and Strowman still makes a lot of sense for both men to stay busy and relevant heading into SummerSlam. Owens has continuously tried to take Strowman out of the title picture, but recently wanted to befriend him as Monster and Man, and he wanted to have them take over Monday Night Raw. After escaping out of a running power slam on Monday Night Raw, it's clear that the two haven't seen the last of each other, rather getting lost in the shuffle at Extreme Rules with a Reigns victory, almost a guarantee at this point, depending on if Rollins is there or not, allowing Strowman to show off his brute strength in a fantastic fashion at Extreme Rules in a steel cage match against a great heel in Owens. You know, that could potentially be the most entertaining part of Extreme Rules if WWE goes that route. Some of the people that I talk to regularly, they feel like Owens is kind of baiting Strowman into possibly putting up the briefcase in a one-on-one match. I mean, that could lend to some, entertaining segments on Raw. It could be something different. We don't really see the briefcase put on the line all that often. Maybe Braun is confident in himself that Kevin Owens will definitely get these hands at Extreme Rules, and he wants to put the briefcase on the line. Or maybe Owens is such a good heel that he coerces Braun Strowman to put the briefcase on the line. I don't know. But either way you look at it, WWE may be going down this path for Kevin Owens and Braun Strowman. Owens in the multi-man match, he's always a great hand in anything that he does, but he ain't winning it. You can't put Braun Strowman in that match. It doesn't make any sense for him to be in that match because, like I said, he's already the default number one contender. If he's there, he's only taking a spot away from somebody who you could possibly put in there. And at this point, I don't know how many men are going to be in this thing. I'm assuming it'll be 5. Like I said, we already got Roman, Lashley, maybe Finn, Elias, Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode's already claiming that it's going to be a glorious new beginning for him on Monday Night Raw. I don't know where they're going with this. I really don't. They're just so frustrating. So frustrating. It feels like WWE doesn't even have plans. I feel like they're booking this shit on the fly, which is the norm these days in WWE. But according to sources, we're going to see Braun Strowman and Kevin Owens not in the multi-man match, but in a steel cage match at Extreme Rules. So that should be interesting in itself, and we should know more about that as the weeks go on watching Monday Night Raw. We have news on Sami Zayn. And this is quite disheartening, to be honest with you, but I'm looking at this as a glass half full type situation, not a glass half empty. Sami Zayn is definitely one of the more entertaining aspects of any brand that he's on, especially with his heel run. A lot of people didn't think Sami Zayn would cut it as a heel. I think he's passed the fucking test with flying colors. I love what Sami Zayn offers any brand he's on. I think he did great work with Kevin Owens. I thought they were the most entertaining thing on SmackDown Live leading into WrestleMania. But now, on Monday Night Raw, we didn't know how hurt Sami Zayn was. He hurt us. Actually, he didn't hurt us. He tried to make the best of the situation. WWE hurt our feelings. WWE did damage to us by putting on fucking god-awful television with Bobby Lashley and Sami Zayn, leading to Money in the Bank. But it looks like this could be the best thing going for Sami Zayn, and I wish him the speediest of recoveries. He will be out until 2019. So he is done for the rest of the year. The battle with Sami Zayn and Bobby Lashley was one that failed to get WWE fans excited. The storyline had Zayn billed as the heel, but in reality, every time he shared the ring with his opponent, he was the Canadian who got more cheers. Since returning to WWE after a decade away, Lashley has failed to get the crowd behind him. Terrible segments, including Zayn and the Lashley sisters, didn't help him at all. And honestly, most fans are just unhappy about the whole thing and are thrilled that the feud is over. Lashley has no charisma. Lashley continues to smile over and over again. Lashley hasn't proved anything in the ring back with the WWE. I don't give a shit what we've seen with Impact Wrestling. I wish he'd go back there, to be honest with you. I'm sure they would find more value in him than Raw finds value in him right now. He is worthless. The guy, honestly, to me, and nobody can convince me otherwise, he is worthless, and he is a waste of payroll. There's a reason why I call him Bobby Trashley. He has done nothing for Monday Night Raw, and he continues to add more trash to an already dismal show. Unfortunately, though, even though that has come at a price, as WWE has announced that Zayn suffered a pretty serious injury. We don't know whether Bobby Lashley added to that or not, probably, but Zayn says that he has been working injured for quite some time now, which is a testament in itself. And Sami Zayn is one of those guys that doesn't want to walk away because he's afraid of losing his spot. You know, we all talked about Dean Ambrose walking away. Remember when Dean Ambrose got hurt, out 9 months? Ambrose is a guy that if he comes back, it's not going to take him very long to be back in the same position that he was in before he was hurt. Someone like Sami Zayn, WWE probably won't push Sami Zayn right back to where he was before WrestleMania. I don't know what's to come for Sami Zayn. So there's a reason why Sami Zayn held off this long, is because he knows if he walks away, it's going to be a very, very difficult uphill battle for him to get back to a decent spot on Monday Night Raw. And that in itself is a testimony to what these guys go through, and a testament to Sami Zayn working injured the way he was, trying to perform and entertain us. Following Money in the Bank in this week's episode of Raw, it's been revealed that Sami Zayn has 2, not 1, but 2 rotator cuffs. And that will both require surgery. So both of them will require surgery. And that is unbelievable. And 2 blown rotator cuffs for Sami Zayn. According to an article published by WWE.com, Zayn will have to undergo surgery on both his shoulders and isn't expected to recover until 2019. I quote, "Well, right now I'm in Birmingham, Alabama. I just underwent surgery for my right shoulder, aka my good shoulder," Zayn told WWE. "So I'm out for a little while with that. I guess people don't know about this injury. I've been working with it for quite some time," end quote. Even though he's only been taken off TV, it sounds like Sami Zayn has been battling this injury for a while now. Sami Zayn goes on to say, and I quote, "I don't know exactly when I tore it. I think I tore it or initially injured it on a Montreal live event this past August wrestling Jinder Mahal. But then my left shoulder, aka my bad shoulder, started to act up again as well. That shoulder hasn't been the same since surgery anyway. So I had just kind of gotten used to the fact that the shoulder was the bad one. But it started to get progressively worse. So basically, long story short, it turns out that I have 2 blown rotator cuffs. The left one and the right one are both torn. I just underwent surgery on the right one, and then in about 6 or 7 weeks, I will be undergoing surgery on the left one. Even though he's going to be out of action for a long time, it doesn't seem like that's affected his fighting spirit too much. Sami Zayn ended, and I quote, "Hopefully I can come back healthy and happy," end quote. This gets him off a terrible Monday Night Raw show that isn't doing anything right now. I don't think Sami Zayn would have been featured in anything important anyway. Look at what WWE did with Sami Zayn and Bobby Lashley. He was going nowhere. What do you do with him after that? Where was he going to go? Was he going to be thrusted into the Universal title picture? Just going to be another name wasted in a match that he's not going to win. Maybe you put him in the Intercontinental Championship title picture. I think Sami Zayn is the perfect just vision of what an Intercontinental Champion should be. I could see Sami Zayn fighting for the Intercontinental title. A babyface Seth Rollins versus a heel Sami Zayn? Take my money. The battles that those two could have? Come on, man. That's a great way to look at it. It gets him off Monday Night Raw. It gets him away from a show that really isn't doing him any favors. And, you know, absence makes the heart grow fonder. Maybe this return in 2019, maybe people are going to be happy to see Sami Zayn back. Maybe he gets a recharged babyface run. You know, WWE gave him a heel run. He proved he could thrive in any situation that they give him. A babyface, we know he could do that well. You know, he's got the fighting spirit of a Daniel Bryan. Heel, he was a great heel. I loved his antics as a heel. I loved his sarcasm as a heel. I loved his attitude and the way he delivered on the microphone as a heel. So Sami Zayn could do anything and prove to be entertaining at it. I hope when he comes back happy and healthy that WWE has some solid plans for the underdog of the underground. I'd love to see Sami Zayn back in the title hunt. Not necessarily for the Universal title, but I'd love to see him with some IC title gold around his waist, for sure. So hopefully we see Sami Zayn come back better than ever in 2019. I'm going to miss him. I don't know about you guys, but I'm certainly going to miss Sami Zayn on Monday Night Raw. Moving on here, man. Let's get to the juicy Keemstar drama alert stuff, huh? Argument with Carmella is the latest news in Big Cass being released from WWE. After the news broke on Tuesday that Big Cass had been released from the WWE, most people were surprised and wanted to know the reason why WWE officials fired him. It's been a tough week for him because new reports continued to be reported on, revealing more and more details about how unprofessional and problematic he was behind the scenes. Now, what we already reported, just to get you guys up to speed. If you guys want to go watch my video on it, I did an off-the-script extra on Thursday on this. Big Cass is claustrophobic. The WWE chauffeuring bus, or the talent that was chauffeured on the WWE tour bus overseas. Big Cass went into the bathroom. He's claustrophobic. The door was already broken. The lock on the door was already broken. So the people on the bus with Big Cass decided to play a prank on him. And he couldn't get out of the bathroom. He ended up breaking the door off its hinges. And he started a big scene on the talent bus that was chauffeuring talent from city to city overseas. So that was number one. Number two, he got into political arguments, heated arguments with people in WWE, notably Sami Zayn, and didn't agree with his stance on where he is with the whole Syria thing that's going on with that and how involved Sami Zayn is with that. Plus, Big Cass is a huge Donald Trump supporter, and he made that well known to everybody, and that you really can't do that nowadays, depending on, you know, what people are feeling. Nobody wants to have your fucking political, or nobody wants to have their political beliefs frowned upon, and nobody wants to hear your bullshit, especially if they fucking hate the direction the country's going in. You know, Big Cass can't really lay that on the line and expect people to fucking think, you know, well of him. So that's another thing. Starting political arguments and just having people turn on him because of that. You know, you can't really be doing that. Then there was the whole incident with him disobeying Vince McMahon. He went to Vince McMahon to ask permission about trying to get himself over, more so in that segment before Backlash with the mini Daniel Bryan. Big Cass was denied his request. He went out there and disobeyed Vince McMahon anyway and did what he wanted. So that didn't sit well with Vince McMahon. Kevin Dunn wanted to sit down with him and go over rehearsals for his promo on SmackDown Live a couple weeks ago before his second match with Daniel Bryan. The promo sucked. He gave Kevin Dunn an attitude. He was unhappy with WWE Creative. He got a writer fired because the segment came off bad on television, according to Vince McMahon. So Vince McMahon took his frustrations out on the writer, fired the writer, and that blew up backstage. Sunday, before Money in the Bank, Big Cass confronted higher-ups and was visibly upset and frustrated that he had to tap out to Daniel Bryan again. And then, on Tuesday, when he got wind that he was going to be in the gauntlet match, he would be the first one eliminated. He had a problem with that. All of this added up to them firing him. Then we got this story. According to Dirty Sheets, WWE officials wanted to see Daniel Bryan beat Big Cass at Money in the Bank to end their feud and move him on to new things for the next 3 months leading into SummerSlam. Apparently, Big Cass did not react positively to the booking and actually had an argument with WWE Creative on Sunday. Cass also left the building immediately after his match with Bryan, which WWE officials never appreciate. He was in a foul mood the next day at the arena, and the next day, he did not like the idea of being the first eliminated in the gauntlet match on SmackDown Live. At some point during the day, Big Cass saw Carmella, and it was well known that the two were a couple. They were dating. The two have recently separated. He's seen Carmella in catering. I wonder what they were eating. And Carmella was standing alongside 205 Live announcer Vic Joseph. Apparently, the two hang out regularly at TV, but Cass believed that there was something going on between the two, between Joseph and Carmella, and confronted Vic Joseph about it. Vic Joseph claims Cass threatened to take his head off and to stay away from him. And to stay away from Carmella, I'm assuming. He was already on thin ice with WWE officials due to his attitude and constant issues on television and backstage. It's possible the confrontation with Carmella, who has become a major player in the company, I don't know how or why, was enough for the powers that be to pull the trigger on his dismissal. Unfortunately, his wrestling career will need to continue elsewhere. And you can't teach that. Cass, how you doing? The more and more that comes out about this, I mean, are you feeling less compassionate and sympathetic towards Big Cass? Because I am. I definitely am. Now you're threatening to take a commentator's head off because he's talking to your ex-girlfriend? And you don't think this is going to catch wind of anybody in the back? Never bring your outside personal business into the workspace. You were at work, you concentrate on your work. You know how many times I have been told that working anywhere I have previously worked before I started working from home? Big Cass got himself fired, people. On top of that, with the drunken public intoxication, you know, many people were like, oh, this shit happened back in the day regularly. Yeah, that's when WWE wasn't a publicly traded company, you fucking goons. Never question me about the shit that I bring to the table. I'm not right in everything. But if you are a publicly traded company and you're going to go out and be publicly intoxicated, you don't think WWE officials are going to see and hear that you're acting a fool? You don't think WWE officials are going to catch wind of you threatening to take an announcer's head off because he's talking to your ex-girlfriend? Big Cass got himself fired. He let the job escape him, and he let his attitude, that New York attitude, just come out and ruin everything that he had going for him. I don't feel bad for him at this point. I really don't. Does he come back? Maybe. Like I said yesterday, the door never closes. The door may be closed, but it's never locked. But Big Cass right now is going to be finding a wrestling career, if he wants to continue in this industry, somewhere else. You know, work on your attitude. Work on your green as grass in ring skill. Then maybe WWE will look at you, you know, and give you another opportunity back in the day when, or back, well, they'll give you another opportunity moving forward in the future. And they'll eliminate whatever happened back in the day, and they'll fucking brush it under the rug, sweep it under the rug, and they'll give him another shot. I don't know what else to tell you. Big Cass right now, like I said, you're bullshitting yourself if you're going to miss Big Cass. You really are bullshitting yourself. You will probably not even realize he's gone by the end of June. You're not. He offered nothing to television. He was pretty much directionless on SmackDown Live, moving on from Daniel Bryan. And the fact that he was with Daniel Bryan in his first feud back from injury should say a lot about what WWE wants to do with you. You think they're going to put anybody with Daniel Bryan? Big Cass fucked this up for himself, and I don't really feel sorry for him whatsoever right now. Speaking of SmackDown Live, when you listen to Rey Mysterio, when you hear Rey Mysterio's name, you attribute him to SmackDown Live, more so than anything else. Although WWE made a significant release with Big Cass, there's still a lot of focus on stars returning or signing with the company. Perhaps the biggest name linked with WWE recently is Kenny Omega, with the company's continued references of the IWGP Heavyweight Champion suggesting that they are confident in snatching him away from New Japan, along with the Young Bucks, when their contracts expire in January 2019. Last week, the focus fell on Dean Ambrose as reports had emerged stating that Ambrose moved one step closer to a return as he was spotted at the Performance Center. Most recently, though, we saw the return of James Ellsworth at Money in the Bank as the chinless gnome was pulled out of an event in China to return to help Carmella defeat Asuka and retain the SmackDown Women's Championship at Money in the Bank. However, there's another return that is expected to take place this year, and the man in question has also confirmed that the two sides are talking ever since he returned at the Royal Rumble, and the greatest Royal Rumble. Was Rey Mysterio in the greatest Royal Rumble? I don't think so. I don't think he was in the greatest Royal Rumble. Or I might have missed that. I don't know. I don't think he was in the greatest Royal Rumble. But there has been increased talk of Rey Mysterio possibly returning to the WWE despite currently performing for other promotions. One of the biggest questions regarding his return, however, is whether or not he's ever going to come back on a full-time basis or whether it will continue to be sporadic returns. Now that Mysterio has confirmed that he and WWE are in talks regarding a 3-year deal, we are all wondering under what conditions he will be returning. Speaking about negotiations during the official announcement of Rey Mysterio Day in San Diego, the former WWE champion has claimed that if his body can hold up, the deal will be for 3 years. He said, and I quote, "I'm actually getting ready to go back, possibly, to the WWE. We are talking about another 3 years if my body hangs tight and holds on." End quote. Mysterio might be getting older now, but his performances suggest he's still in tip-top shape. The report says he's in his prime. He's not in his prime anymore, with the way he manages to move in the ring regularly. He also still has a lot to offer the company, whether it's in the Cruiserweight division, which I thought would be the best role for Rey Mysterio, or on SmackDown Live. Right now, they'll probably put him on Monday Night Raw because that show needs something as far as a boost of adrenaline. Plus, he's already displayed an interest in forming an alliance with Sin Cara, Kalisto, and Andrade Cien Almas. Now, Sin Cara is on SmackDown, Almas is on SmackDown, and Kalisto is on 205 Live. Maybe he could be part of Lucha House Party. I don't know. I don't think so. I think that may be beneath Rey Mysterio. But Rey Mysterio, if they want to take 205 Live on tour, live events with 205 Live, you need a big name to headline. Mysterio is that guy. Mysterio versus Cedric. Mysterio versus Buddy Murphy. Mysterio versus Mustafa Ali. Mysterio versus Leo Rush. Mysterio versus Hideo Itami. You got a lot of great matchups that you could just flesh out over there on 205 Live. Will WWE do that? I don't know. Probably not. They probably think Rey Mysterio is above 205 Live. We'll see what happens, man. But right now, the rosters are already stacked. If Mysterio comes back, where is he going to really fit into any plans? If you put him on SmackDown, he's going to have to battle his way through the likes of Bryan, Almas, Orton, AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, Jeff Hardy, Rusev. A lot of talent over there. And if you put him on Monday Night Raw, he could easily and quickly become one of the top names on that brand. With Lesnar being gone, I could easily see Mysterio in the Universal Championship picture. Mysterio versus Rollins, Mysterio versus Ziggler, Mysterio versus McIntyre, Mysterio versus Balor, Mysterio versus Reigns for the Universal title. Could be a different take on things over there. We'll see what happens. The rosters are stacked. It's evident with the way Vince McMahon is chasing Mysterio that he still holds Mysterio in high regard. So when he reportedly returns in September or October, it won't be for a short time. I would not sign Mysterio to a regular full-time contract. I would sign him to a almost Chris Jericho-like deal. Where Jericho, I would say, when Jericho's back, he does the whole house tour thing, but he does it for 6 months at a time. Goes away for a little bit, comes back during WrestleMania, goes away for a little bit, comes back during SummerSlam. I don't know how they're gonna do this. Mysterio for a 3-year deal, 300 days out of the year, his body won't last 3 years. That's the way I see it. I say you bring him back sporadically. You bring him back when it counts. You have him do the live shows. You don't have him go out there each and every day, touring the circuit, taking up house show time. I wouldn't do that with Mysterio. You got enough big names to sell the house show circuit. You really do. Live events only when it matters. Live events building towards pay-per-views. That's the way you use Mysterio. He's not needed for the house shows. Am I excited to see him back? Yeah, absolutely. I thought he looked great in the Royal Rumble. I thought he looked fantastic. So we'll see what happens, man. Come October, we may be seeing the masked one, Rey Mysterio, back in the WWE. Ronda Rousey's upcoming WWE schedule. Now, she is suspended from WWE. She is suspended. Rousey, or, I want to say suspended, quote-unquote suspended. She may show up on Monday Night Raw in a defiant way. We don't know yet. Now, Ronda Rousey didn't like losing at Money in the Bank. She let her frustrations really show the next night on Monday Night Raw. After assaulting her WrestleMania partner, Kurt Angle, with the briefcase, she put Alexa Bliss through a table. Everyone got a piece of Rousey as she demonstrated a side of her character that the WWE Universe had not seen up until this point. Kurt Angle had no choice but to suspend Ronda after her assault. Therefore, it looks like Ronda Rousey will be off television for the next 30 days. Which is a very smart way of writing her off television so they don't have to book her in an Extreme Rules match and keep that mystique around Ronda's character. Now, Dave Meltzer reports that WWE has confirmed Rousey will be making most of her previous commitments regardless of her suspension. This includes Sunday's live event in Anaheim, July 6th at Madison Square Garden, and July 8th in Bridgeport, Connecticut. But she has since been removed from advertisements for Extreme Rules, so she won't be working that pay-per-view. Rousey was on the tickets for SummerSlam, so it's very likely she'll be back in action by SummerSlam. On an interesting note, even though Ronda was pulled from Extreme Rules advertisements, she still is being advertised to appear at Raw when they roll into San Diego next week, as well as the July 9th live Raw broadcast from Boston and July 16th from Buffalo, New York. Therefore, just because she's suspended probably doesn't mean the WWE Universe won't be seeing any of Ronda for the whole 30 days. They could have fun with this if they want. WWE could certainly have fun with this, man. They could have Ronda buy a ticket to the show to intimidate Alexa, right? They didn't say anything about her not showing up as a fan. She bought a ticket to the show. Or have them show Ronda Rousey on SmackDown talking to Paige. Having Ronda feeling that Kurt Angle disobeyed her and she doesn't want anything to do. At least at that point, You know, you could get Ronda on television. And in a way, I wish WWE would do more with Survivor Series. You know, Survivor Series is brand warfare, right? Not only could you have Ronda kind of tease maybe going to SmackDown after they got rid of her on Monday Night Raw, show her talking to Paige. Maybe she shows up on SmackDown Live. What is Ronda doing here? You know, have a little angle with Charlotte and Ronda crossing paths in the back. You know, maybe a little stare down. Ronda, stone cold grin and face on her facial expression. She walks by Charlotte. She just blows off Charlotte. And Charlotte feels slighted or disrespected. Throw some seeds. Throw some fuel into the fire there, right? And this could be a way to also develop brand warfare for Survivor Series. You know, maybe SmackDown Live could be contract tampering with Ronda Rousey. Can't be really doing that. She's signed to Raw, and she's on SmackDown talking to Paige. Get that Raw versus SmackDown dynamic going on as you're leading towards Survivor Series, because you know how fucking stupid it looks when Survivor Series comes around in November, and everybody's thinking, oh, it's brand warfare. The brands haven't mentioned anything about having warfare between them. There's no real issue between the brands, except that one is Raw and one is SmackDown, and they're both on different nights of the week, and that's it. One is red, one is blue. There's no collusion between brands. There's no warfare between brands. There's no issue or competitive nature between brands. Tease that there's some internal fucking workings of Paige maybe taking Ronda away from Monday Night Raw because she feels disrespected by Kurt Angle. You know, it could work. Could be good television. And it gets people thinking to the months ahead. So we'll see what happens with that. But Ronda may show up, like I said, in the crowd. She may be used to intimidate Alexa Bliss just by sitting front row during an Alexa Bliss match on Monday Night Raw. She may even show up at Extreme Rules and beat down Alexa after her match with Nia. The suspension is over, honey. Now you got to answer to the fucking Grim Reaper. I don't know, man. WWE can have fun with this. Will they? I don't know. I'm just talking out of my fucking ass, man. I'm just letting my creative juices go here. You know, WWE can have fun with it, but fun doesn't exist in WWE. Finally, before we get the hell out of here, man, speaking of Money in the Bank, there were several superstars reportedly upset at the change in the Money in the Bank main event. Money in the Bank is in the books. Chicago had a great time at Money in the Bank and at TakeOver. Safe to say that the anticipation was worth it. Somehow, surprisingly, the WWE put on a decent show with several entertaining matches. AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura finally got the praise at the definite conclusion of what was mostly an underwhelming feud. Seems like WWE did a lot of things right in Chicago. Ronda Rousey was very impressive in her first singles match, primarily since she was up against Nia Jax, who's green as grass herself in the ring for the Raw Women's Championship, and not someone very experienced, like a Natalya, for example. We even saw cash in as Alexa Bliss won the Women's Championship after winning the Money in the Bank briefcase ladder match earlier in the evening, hijacking the match between Ronda and Nia. And everybody was surprised and had mixed feelings towards what happened there. In the main event, we've seen Braun Strowman officially become Mr. Money in the Bank, or Mr. Monster in the Bank, however you want to coin it. While the fans are pleased that Brock Lesnar's time as Universal Champion is now ticking down with Strowman, all but guaranteed as run as champion, a large section of the fans do believe the briefcase would have been more beneficial on someone like The Miz, Kevin Owens, or a Samoa Joe. Miz, if you're asking me. However, the sight of Monster in the Bank, standing tall, all by himself, with the briefcase high up in the air, on the ladder, was not how the night was originally supposed to end, per Cage Side Seats. Cage Side Seats has revealed stories from both PW Insider and Fightful.com, with the first source claiming that the main event plans were different, and the second stating that the last-minute change left several superstars bummed out. Initial plans called for the Money in the Bank main event to be Rousey vs. Jax for the Raw Women's Championship, rather than Strowman being the final star shown before the event went off the air. The night was supposed to end with Bliss cashing in her Money in the Bank contract. At some point over the weekend, though, WWE, more notably Vince McMahon, made the decision to stick the men's ladder match in the main event instead. Fightful has then revealed that insiders say that the change in main event resulted in some members of the women's roster being upset that Rousey and Jax weren't closing the show, despite both women receiving a lot of praise when they came through the curtain after their bout. The frustration is understandable, even more so when plans change at the last second. With a lot of focus going on women's wrestling right now, with the mainstream appeal of Rousey, it's easy to see why sticking with the original plan would have been more beneficial to WWE in the long run. Nobody knew how good the match was going to be. Most people expected it to be a fucking train wreck. So when we got what we got, we were all pleasantly surprised. The reason why people are upset is not because, of the men going on last. It's not having to do with men or women. Oh, the women got slighted again. No, it's not that at all. The reason why people are upset is because they were promised something. They were promised Rousey and Nia. They kind of heard that Ronda and Nia were going on last. The bummed out comes from, oh, you gave us something and now you're taking it away. So it's not at, WWE roster members being upset over, oh, the men get one over the women. No, it's the fact that you gave them something and promised them something, and then you take it away and you give them something else when you initially promised something in the first place. That's the reason why people were bummed out. And if I can say right here, the reason why I think Vince McMahon went with it, and the reason why I think Vince McMahon went with the men's Money in the Bank ladder match over Alexa Bliss is because I think WWE wanted, or Vince McMahon anyway, wanted people to go home happy. Because a lot of people look at Braun Strowman and they want to see Braun Strowman. They're invested in Braun Strowman. So I'm figuring that Vince McMahon wanted to send the crowd in Chicago home happy with Braun Strowman winning Money in the Bank over a heel Alexa Bliss winning the Raw Women's Championship in a very heel-like fashion. Because that was mixed results, mixed feelings towards that. I don't think many people, you could even say Braun Strowman at this point got mixed feelings because everybody wanted The Miz to win. Or Samoa Joe. A lot of people were like me. They didn't think that Braun Strowman needed the Money in the Bank. So you can kind of say that there was mixed feelings, but the majority of the people were happy to see Braun Strowman win Money in the Bank. So again, I think it was more of a bummed out, meaning, well, you gave us the women first, and now you're taking it away and you're changing your idea. So nobody's upset that the men main evented. They're just upset at the fact that they were promised the main event and then they changed their plans, which always happens. And I think WWE put the men on last because Vince wanted the go-home feeling and he wanted to send the crowd home happy for Money in the Bank, which is normally something that he is prone to doing. Not when Roman wins it, because he sends the crowd home fucking utterly disappointed and sick to their stomachs when Roman is in the main event and he wins. And he overcomes these fucking bogus odds that are seemingly mounted against him. Let me see you do the fucking bullshit in SummerSlam. Let me see how the crowd reacts in New York City. Hopefully Strowman is waiting there. Not even waiting there. I don't want to see Strowman run down the aisle cashing in a briefcase. I want to see Strowman. Roman, listen, you're number one contender. Boy, get to the fucking back of the line. I'm making this a triple threat match. You ain't getting this title. I'm taking the title off Brock Lesnar. You want to win your little multi-man Extreme Rules match? Fine. I got this. I'm cashing in, and now your opportunity is my opportunity. Simple. I don't want to see Strowman run down the aisle like a fucking clown, taking advantage of somebody. Who the fuck does he need to take advantage of? It's Braun fucking Strowman. That's why I said he didn't even need the briefcase in the first place. You're going to deny Braun Strowman whatever he wants? If he wants a title shot, you're going to tell him no? And on what grounds do you have to tell him no? He certainly deserves it. I don't know, man. We'll talk about that for a different day. That will be more clear as the weeks go on, and we'll see how Braun Strowman does indeed cash in his Monster in the Bank. But unhappiness doesn't come from jealousy. It just comes from giving and then taking. Simple as that. And then Vince McMahon wanted to send Chicago home happy. Were you guys happy with Braun Strowman winning Money in the Bank, or were there mixed feelings? Pretty sure if, from my side of things, I think that there were mixed feelings. Not because we don't like Braun Strowman, just because it could have done better for somebody else. So we'll see what happens with that. We got a couple of weeks till Extreme Rules, and hopefully things work out for the best. You know, normally they don't end up being good for WWE, but we'll see what happens. I'm going to try and give them the benefit of the doubt this one time going into SummerSlam. That is all I got, guys. Thank you so much for everything. I might not have enough news for a part 3 tomorrow. Hopefully something breaks over the weekend. Because right now, all I got here is 2 more stories. And I don't really have much else to talk about this weekend. So we'll make do on something, man. We'll figure out something for Sunday. But that is all I got for part 2 here on this Saturday, man. Sorry if I wasn't as animated as I was in part 1. Again, not feeling well. I don't know if it's a lack of sleep or, you know, whatever my dream had conjured up. So if you guys were less than enthused with me in this episode, I want to feel better, but wasn't feeling myself today. So hopefully you guys still enjoyed the podcast and the video regardless, man. Thank you guys so much for everything. Please donate if you can. I'm not asking you guys to, but if you find it in your heart to donate, please do so, man. It would mean a lot to me, and I want to make a great impression for the McMullins for giving me their venue to host Off the Script, and to Brian and for his mother, who's recovering from ovarian cancer herself. That will be down in the comment section below. Please go and donate. Same thing for Rusty. His bike tour 2018 for MS Research. That will be down in the comment section as well, pinned with the ovarian cancer research fundraiser. Thank you guys so very much for that. Follow me on Twitter at JDFROMNY206. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. And if you guys want to pledge to the podcast on Patreon, patreon.com/JDFROMNY206. I'm getting out of here, guys. Hopefully I'll see you on Sunday with something right here for part 3 of Off the Script. Until then, have a great Saturday. And hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow for part 3 to finish out the weekend of Off the Script, episode 227. I'll talk to you later.